Want to learn how to get a business analyst job? What a business analyst job description is in the first place? Business analyst salary, business analyst interview questions, how to put together a business analyst resume, and overall how to become a business analyst? Congratulations. Business analyst jobs can be rewarding, and you found the right business analyst training series to answer all those things. I've been a top performing professional for 22 years, and I'm going to teach you all these business analyst skills that I learned through trial and error in a small fraction of that time. So what is a business analyst? Let's check out today's exciting topic to find out. Today we're going to talk about the top 10 reasons why a business analyst is important in an organization. And if you stick through all the way to the end, I think you're going to be very surprised by number 10. Business analysts are actually crucial to organizations. They help organizations understand their processes, systems, and strategies to improving those things over the long term. Reason number 1 about why a business analyst is important to an organization is identifying business needs. So, business analysts help organizations identify their underlying business needs and challenges using tools like SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And they analyze those processes to gather requirements and understand their stakeholders' perspectives, whether they're stakeholders within their own organization or outside their organization. Business analysts can typically work with both kinds of stakeholders and have to be able to communicate with both of them and have skills to uncover the business needs in both situations. So understand that businesses are always trying to improve. There's always some sort of new initiative to improve in different areas. Businesses can be complex, so they work on one initiative now, another one next quarter, another one next year, and so forth. So the idea that a business analyst is there on the team is crucial because they're always being utilized to uncover business problems in different areas and how those problems can be improved to make that area of the business run more smoothly. Then, of course, once they come back around to the first thing they ever worked on, it has changed over time, over years, and they work on it again. So item number 1 on why a business analyst is crucial is identifying the business need. The second reason of why a business analyst is important to an organization is effective decision making. So you may say, John, the leadership makes all the decisions in an organization. And while this may be true, business analysts are providing them data-driven decision-making capabilities. So your executives may want to move the organization in a certain direction or focus on a particular product in their product suite, but they're not able to do that without understanding of how the different products are performing and ingesting the data and creating something valuable for the customer from that data. That's where the business analyst comes in. They gather and aggregate and visualize all that data so the executives can have data-driven decision making. And this is why a business analyst is important to an organization in terms of decision making. And this is why the business analyst is also in the best position to analyze and evaluate alternative solutions because they're using a data-driven approach and can share this throughout the organization. The third reason a business analyst is important to an organization is requirements management. So the business analyst is not only gathering all the requirements from the internal or the external stakeholder, they're also trying to identify patterns in those requirements and in the data that supports those requirements to solve the given business problem, and they're managing sort of the life cycle of those requirements. The requirements are listed in a requirements document. They're translated into a specification that the more technical implementers can use to create or configure software. And then they have to be comprehensible by the quality assurance team as well, the product management team, sales and marketing, and all these things as well. So the business analyst is not only gathering the requirements, they're documenting or immortalizing them in such a way that they're consumable by all the different groups who work together to push the project to completion, including the project managers themselves. Project managers are managing time, risks, escalations, and things like that, but the timelines they put together will depend directly on input from the business analyst who understands the requirements that are documented to try to fulfill or correct the current business problem. So if you've stuck with me this far through the video, I hope you're getting some great value and want to be notified every time I drop the next piece of training in this series, go ahead and subscribe to How to Be a Business Analyst below and click that bell button for all notifications. Once you've done that, drop me a comment in the comments below letting me know that you subscribed, and I'll go ahead and try to answer all of those comments personally. Reason number 4 why a business analyst is important in an organization is process optimization. So that's a fancy term for efficiency. Business analysts can help identify bottlenecks in workflows. They can even help work with the project manager to make resource allocation more effective and efficient and reduce wasted time and increase productivity all the while. The way they do this is they're taking the requirements from the external or internal stakeholders and looking at the way the process is currently running. Maybe it's an agent servicing customers in a contact center. Maybe it's a technician fixing your internet at residential homes, and they can try to find inefficiencies in those processes and help to identify and correct them with the solution. Here's a real-world situation. I have a landscaper who comes and takes care of my yard. The landscaper, coincidentally, or maybe not, because there's some business analysts working in his organization, shows up on a day where he has to cut the lawns of everybody on my block. This is process optimization. There may have been a time when the organization first started where the different landscapers would come do one home and then travel far to do another home in another town. And of course, the revenue drops when you do things like that. And there may have been a business analyst along the way who gathered all of this data across all of the landscapers in the organization and said, I'm seeing a pattern here. What if we were to schedule lawn care all in the same area at the same time and see how the trend of revenue will improve over time? So again, process optimization and efficiency, a vital role of the business analyst. Reason number 5 of why a business analyst is important to an organization is bridging the gap between business and IT. So traditionally, the business world and the technical world have been two different worlds. They might as well have been Venus and Mars. But with the advent of the business analyst, they act as a liaison who understands both business language and, to some degree, technical language. So they don't need to understand the nitty-gritty intricacies of how to do software development, but they need to understand the implications that the software developers' work will have so that they can ask the right questions to the business to provide the technical resources with what they need to produce the end solution. So I'll give you an example. In my organization, we ask questions like, when you provide us with the data, how far back in time might you change some of this data, or some of this data be updated? And that translates into a specific property that a technical person has to write in some code. So I don't need to know how the code works as a business analyst, but I need to know that it exists and that it depends on the answer to this question. So again, another vital reason why business analysts exist in organizations is to serve as a liaison between the business and IT. Reason number 6 of why a business analyst is important to an organization is stakeholder management. So again, as I mentioned, your stakeholder could be some executive within your organization or someone in an external organization. But the business analyst has to be able to build relationships with these folks and help them to believe that they have their best interests at heart and that they're trying to provide value in the way that those stakeholders would define value, right? It can be a subjective thing, but a business analyst has to understand the business problem and understand what the stakeholder would define as success and help them believe that they are here to provide that success in the way they define it. Hey, so one more quick tip for you. If you're thinking, hey, I have a great career too where I can share all these insights on the internet, how do I do that? I have a couple great links for you in the description below. One is Make Money Matt, who teaches how to monetize your skills and abilities online better than almost anybody I've found. And the second one is Teachable, a platform where you can create your very own online courses. Check the links out in the description below. Reason number 7 on why a business analyst is important to an organization is change management and adoption. So not adoption like acquiring babies, but adoption in software terminology means how often are people who are supposed to be using the product actually using it. So you can measure this in terms of how many days they work. So if you have people in your organization who work 5 days a week, of course you wouldn't expect them to use the software 6 or 7 days a week. So you need to take this into consideration in your calculations and say, as a function of the days worked, how many days did this person use this new software that we think will be very valuable in solving their day-to-day business problems? And that's what we mean by adoption. Reason number 8 that a business analyst is important in an organization is return on investment and ensuring that this is being met. So how does a business analyst do this? Well, they're taking all of the requirements that they gather and tying them back to individual business objectives. An organization may have 1 or 2 business objectives per quarter or even per year, and you want to take key performance indicators, KPIs, that are measurements, physical measurements coming from the data being provided, and see how they are performing and how they tie back to those original business objectives. So let's say a company's business objective is, we want to increase our customer base by 5% this quarter. How can we do that? We look at some of the KPIs that are indicators, leading indicators of what's going on with our customers today. Well, the quality of service we're providing is at a 70% success rate, and we would expect 85%. Let's break that down into a root cause analysis path and get the behaviors that agents are doing that's causing this lower than goal outcome, and see what we can do in terms of behaviors to drive the KPIs and the business objective that we're looking for this quarter. And make no mistake, you'll be working with customers with pretty big budgets sometimes, in the hundreds of thousands, sometimes in the millions I've come across in my career. And you're going to be influencing customers as a business analyst to make financially impactful decisions, right? Whether to purchase add-ons to the software, whether to purchase additional products in the product suite that, again, could be very expensive. So we need to be very careful about our data analysis and the recommendations that we make as business analysts, because they have big impacts financially to our stakeholders. We've talked about continuous improvement in previous videos, and that's item number 9 about why business analysts are important in an organization. They're continuously improving themselves, learning new technologies, new software, new skills to be a better business analyst, and having new experiences cross-functionally with other groups within and outside the organization to round out their skill set. So business analysts have more opportunities to be well-rounded than a lot of other groups in an organization, and that is why they are important. And I told you that if you'd stick through till the end, you might be surprised by number 10 on this list of why a business analyst is important to an organization. And number 10 is risk mitigation. So you're going to tell me business analysts are just writing down requirements and translating them into something technical. How are they mitigating risk? Well, business analysts are not only writing down requirements, but they're learning everything about the current process. And it's always better to have a third party, a skilled third party, look at your process from the outside, because sometimes you're too close to the action to see everything that's going on. And you need somebody as a third party to look and say, well, could you envision, and this is a business coaching technique, not telling someone what to do, but having them envision it for themselves, because it's more powerful when it comes from within you, okay? We'll talk about business coaching in a future video, but that's a pro tip for you. The more you can get your customer talking and having them believe that they came up with the idea and you just guided them there, and to a certain degree, that's true, you're not lying to them. But the more you can do that, the more effective you'll be as a business analyst. And so business analysts understand processes, they understand how to look at them and pick them apart for potential improvement, and this is why they're able to mitigate risk and point things out to a project manager before they may notice themselves, or before the customer may notice, or the customer may never notice this risk until they're being asked to pay more money later. So business analysts understand the idea that the earlier in a project you catch a potential problem, the cheaper it is to fix. And that is the bonus number 10 reason why a business analyst is important to an organization: risk mitigation. Thanks again for joining me, and we'll catch you next time.